is exactly what has happened. The time that our nation should have risen up, nip this crisis in the bud for political reasons, for ethnical reasons, ethnicity, religious reasons, rather than for us to call a spade, our political leaders or the leaders at the helms of affairs then failed to nip it in the bud because they don't want, because of the political affiliations, spiritual affiliations, religious and ethnical affiliations. And that is the reason why this has now spread. It's like a fire that, rather than for you to have initially quickly get something and just extinguish the fire, we allow it to burn. Now the whole house or this whole block, and when I now say block, I'm talking of block of flats, maybe like 2, 3, 5-story building, the whole place is now engulfed. So that is why we're now having these challenges. Had it been that when this problem arose and we stood up, we call it the name, and we deploy all our manpower. I heard you when you started your introduction. Yes, Nigeria is the big brother of all African nations, particularly the West African nations. Now we've been to Libya, we've been to many countries, we've been to what's the name of this remember the name of this country, to help them stabilize their security challenges. But unfortunately, people keep asking, how come Liberia? Remember, Nigerians went to Liberia. Ecomog, the commander of Ecomog was a Nigerian general. Now we're now asking this question: how come we've been able to resolve people's security challenges and we've not been able to resolve ours? And the question, or the answer to that question, is very simple. The kind of war or the kind of security challenges that Nigeria is facing now has never happened in this country. I wasn't a small boy during the Civil War, 1966. That then, it wasn't the kind of war we now have now. The kind of war we had then is, yes, we know our enemy, we know the territory of our enemy, we know even their ability. Now all we just need to do is to go over their territory. Whatever we need to do to eliminate those enemies, we do. Unfortunately, now the kind of war we are facing in Nigeria is called asymmetric war. Now we are facing people that we don't even know their territory, because we've allowed them to infiltrate into many communities without challenging them. They've been able to mastermind the territory, they know the territory, they know all this. That is why now that Nigerian is facing, or is how will I put it, that Nigerian army or the security, they have a territory, the northeast, the northwest, that we know that these bandits or terrorists are. We are facing them. We know what happens on Christmas Day, but their remnant has spread all over, if not all over Nigeria, to carry out this kind of what we call soft target attack. And that is what happens in Kwara recently. Now Nigeria needs to wake up. And when I say Nigerian, I deliberately didn't use Nigerians. I deliberately didn't use that our leaders. This is an attestation that Nigeria as a country is not secure. What happens in Kwara State is an attestation of our insecurity. Now, I'm not a prophet of doom, but the English people will say, you cannot continue doing the same thing and expect different results. And I'm sure that by the time we get to how can we find solution to this problem, I will be able to say more. But unfortunately, this may not be the last.
But Chief Fadoju, who are these people? And what do they want from Nigeria or from Nigerians?
Thank you so much. I said it when I started my explanation. Nigeria is a country of diverse interests. Some people are interested in our religion, and that's a fact. Some people are interested in our natural resources. Some people are interested in our political structure. These three sets of people is like a triangle. Because they don't want to, most of them, or some of them, relatively, some of them doesn't want to go through the right channel to either to take control, either religiously, politically, or our mineral resources. Let me quickly give you my experience. I think it was about 2.5 years or 3 years ago, a friend of mine called me and said, please, he will want me to meet some Chinese expatriates, that he wants me to come and do security visibility studies for them. And I said, where are they? He said they are somewhere around after Iseyin. My sister from Iseyin, we drove down inside. I didn't know that Oyo State is as big as that. We drove more than 2.5 hours before we got to where this Chinese factory, presumed or acclaimed factory, is. The only thing I can recollect, or one of the major things that I saw while driving there, is that I saw a big dam, a big reservoir. And I asked, maybe call it a Gary Dam or whatever. Now, when I got there, I saw trucks loading stones, not small trucks, 9, 11 big trucks loading stone, queuing. And I asked my guy, I said, what are they queuing to do? He said, oh, they are moving some stones to Jos. Yes, I could remember. Just grad. And I said, look, I was expecting as a security person that if these transactions are legal, I was expecting to see police in that area. I was expecting to see Oyo State revenue mobilization, whatever, because these trucks, they just check this stuff, move it without appropriate revenue. So that is why I said they don't want to go through the normal channel. If anybody is sponsoring the excavation and removal of our natural resources illegally, which I believe what I saw that day was illegal, because Oyo State does not, even if Oyo State is telling us, oh yes, we have our men there, the facilities to monitor are not there. One of the facilities is what we call weighbridge. I know if a truck wants to go and load, you go to the weighbridge, firstly they weigh you, it prints out the exact weight of that truck. After loading, you go back to that weighbridge, and the weighbridge will give you your new exact weight. So the difference is the amount of goods that you have loaded. And I believe that it is on that premise that Oyo State is supposed to be charging either on either tax, VAT, or whatever, not to talk of the quantity. So I believe most of the things happening there are illegally done. People in that area that are more interested in our natural resources, and I'm using Oyo State as an example. This happened probably all over Nigeria. If you go to Osun, the same thing. Most of the areas in Osun now have some bushes where you don't even expect to see You see white men living inside those bushes. What are they doing there? They are excavating our natural resources. Their activities are not monitored. Those kind of people, there is every possibility for them to sponsor counter-attack, or people that will come and maybe, carry out this kind of operations that is in the area of our natural resources. If you go to political space, we are in a country, even it's not only, the only difference in our country is that, look, in our country, Nigeria today, I was once a police officer in the United Kingdom. There is no armed wings, and when I say armed, A-R-M-E-D, armed wings of any political party, either conservative or Labour or whatever. Now in the UK we have reform. You don't have armed wings. But I would be sitting here lying to my conscience if I tell you I don't know that there is no formidable political party in Nigeria. There is no formidable politicians in Nigeria that does not, besides the normal security provision that the state gives to them, that does not have another armed wings, people that protect them. Let me quickly give you an example. For some years ago, we heard about an attack in Offa, same Kwara State, where innocent women that went to bank, carry out their legitimate business, were massacred. One of those people, that the guy that led that operation eventually died, but one of those suspects mentioned a prominent Nigerian politician. He never said it was that politician that asked them to go and rob the bank, but during interrogation he confessed that the weapons that they were using were once given to them when they were political thugs. So, and I can tell you for free that rather than I have said about political reason for not nipping this issue in the bud, because of political affiliations, Nigeria deserves to know the extent of that investigation. Nigerian deserves to know the consequences. But unfortunately, as I speak with you this morning, that politician, because he's a big man in Nigeria, has not been called to accountability. And nothing is going to happen. This is an issue that has happened years back. I can remember maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago. So that is the political side of it. And because there is no consequence, I can tell you that 2027 is round the corner. Majority of those people that are maybe contesting for one political office or the other, one of their budget is security. And when I say security, is illegal security. They have their arms, they have people. If that is too long, sometimes ago, a few years back, there was an election in Ekiti State, and it was on the news. You can still Google it. Army that were positioned, I think, between Osun State boundary and Ekiti State boundary, arrested trucks, not trucks, buses loaded with arms, guns. Now, people were arrested. The army arrested some thugs, and they confessed that somebody sent them from Oyo State. What happens to that investigation? Are those people prosecuted? But let me tell you for free, those people that were arrested will be amongst you and I now roaming the street freely.
So are you saying, Chief Fadoju, that these people may have been sponsored by some people in power?
Absolutely. That is what I'm saying. And again, it may not be people in power alone. People people even wanting to take power at all means might use anything, and when I say anything, I mean anything, to discredit the government in power.
But with the large chunk allocated to security or defense every year from the budget, one would expect at least some difference.
Mom, I said it earlier on, the kind of challenges, security challenges that this nation has encountered is what we call the conventional. It's the civil war. Within 3 years, the Nigerian military were able to suppress the agitators. There is no political affiliation. They did the needful, even where they need to starve. And if you go through the history, when they cut off funding, when they cut off food supply, unfortunately millions of people died of starvation. But let me tell you for free, starvation is also an act of waging war, fighting criminalities. You cannot be well fed, and I will be talking about your human right, and you are waging war against me, and I have the ability to cut off your feeding opportunity. If I didn't do, then I'm stupid. So the conventional war that Nigerians fought then is totally different from the asymmetric war that Nigeria is facing now. And that was why I used territory. That yes, Nigerian army knew that yes, our enemy are in the eastern part of the nation.
There was a time that we knew that Boko Haram was in the northeast, and they could have been stifled and contained in that area.
Yes, but I said it that the reason why that wasn't done, our political leaders, and that is where our political leaders were at fault. They did not want to offend, because no, let me be honest with you today. If we are to follow the pattern of South Africa, after Nelson Mandela was released, you know, South Africa, they put up this reconciliation committee headed by Bishop Desmond Tutu to say, look, nobody is going to be prosecuted, but for the progress and for history not to repeat itself, everybody should come and say it the way it is, or the way it was, the role that they have participated. If you go through that reconciliation process, you will know, you will read a lot of atrocities committed by people. Yes, they've been given immunity from prosecution. The challenges that Nigeria is facing today, I can tell you for free that they are being sponsored by the elites. Is it my uncle that is in the fund that is going to sponsor terrorism? This man wants to go. Or is it the farmers at Okeogun? Or is it the ordinary bricklayers that just want to earn a day living that are sponsoring? No! But people that are elites, if today we put aside political, religious, and all those things aside and say, look, okay, let's come round the table. Why is Nigeria no longer a safe haven? And everybody now wants to talk and say it the way they are. You will be shocked, man. I can tell you that a lot of guns, a lot of arms and ammunition are being brought into this country illegally by the elites. Don't you know how much one AK-47 costs? There is no AK-47, even if it is fairly used, being brought into this country that is not worth more than 3.5 million. So is it an ordinary man that just have his cassava farm that will go and buy an AK-47? And when you look at the value of that nonentity, pardon my language, that carries that AK-47, if you are to value him, you know that it's not worth more than, if human being has monetary value, it's not worth more than 50,000. And some of them will carry 2-3 AK-47 with magazines and the bullets.
But we know that some of these bandits and terrorists are affiliated to international terrorists, like terrorists,
like ISWAP?
Yes, groups like ISWAP, ISIS, and all of those.
What?
And they could be sponsoring them as well.
Let me tell you this. Yes, they are being sponsored. You are very correct. But let me tell you this. Why is ISWAP in Nigeria? What is the meaning of Boko Haram? Boko Haram simply means no to Western education. So, if people that are against Western education in other countries, maybe they want to Christianize Nigeria, maybe they want to Islamize Nigeria, and they know they cannot do it through the normal channel, because Nigeria is a secular state, and the only way they can find, they have these resources. I am not saying, look at Iran is one of the major sponsors of terrorism in the whole world. Iran, okay, they can sponsor, they have the resources to say, yes, if Nigeria is our target, and let us use all this. And this is why few days or few months ago, just before Christmas, that our president, United States of America president, declared Nigeria as a country of concern. He allegedly said Christians are being killed in Nigeria. That is the reason why he wants to support. But I think and I pray that what happens in Kwara State last week gets to Donald Trump's table, so that he will now realize that, look, it is not only because if you look at the modus of operandi, the operation that was carried out in Kwara, majority, if not all the people that were killed were Muslims. So, and the people that came to kill them, they appear, because that is the only language I can use, they appear to be a Muslim. And the Muslim that I know, I'm from Ondo State, I'm from Ondo Town. My father was a pastor. His immediate junior brother was the Seriki of Ereketa. So during Christmas, his junior brothers, all my uncle and all his children, they come to our house for Christmas festivity. During Ilea, we all move, we wear the same clothes. So the Islam that I grew up to know is a religion or a religious of peace. But these people that pretend now to destabilize this country using religion, are they men and women of peace? So if this news gets to Donald Trump now, which I believe, he will now know that for sure people are using religion to destabilize this country. People that are being killed daily in this country, they are not Christians alone. Even probably if we do the statistics, Northeast together with Northwest, I can tell you that the statistics, the numbers of Christians, yes, every life is sacrosanct. The numbers of Christians that are being massacred in this country are lesser than the numbers of Muslims that are being killed. So, if people are trying to, maybe because of their own religious beliefs, and they want to bring discord, they want to bring disunity, disgovernance into Nigeria, it can come in that form. So, ISWAP doesn't have oil field. ISWAP doesn't have what generate funds or what give them funds, but they have access to hundreds and hundreds of, if not billions of dollars. Where are they getting that money from? They don't sell, they don't trade, they don't have nothing that can generate revenue for them. but they have this war chest money to procure, to recruit, to pay. All these fighters are on their payroll. All these fighters, they are not doing it for Allah or for God's sake. They are on payroll. That is why you see mercenaries coming from across other countries to come and fight here. Just like what happens recently, if you watch CNN last week, some Nigerians are in Ukraine now. Some of them have been killed fighting for Russia. Most of them has never been to Russia, but they recruited them. So exactly what is happening. ISWAP, Al-Qaeda, or any of these terrorist organizations, they do not have businesses. They don't have shares themselves, but they have money to carry out their operation. So in other words, some people are funding them to destabilize Nigeria, both internally, and I mean it when I say internally and externally. Maybe when we get to the point of solution, I'll talk for it.
A lot to still talk about, especially now narrowing down to Kwara State. Well, we're taking a break now to bring you the news on the hour at exact 11 o'clock, and that will be followed by Rui. Breakfast Fiesta will continue right after that. Do stay with us.
The city of Ibadan, the home of ancient warlords, in the Payseta state. This is Oluyole FM 98.5 Ibadan.
Ohun èlò tuntun kan ti wà fún sísè àwọn oúnjẹ aládùn. Ṣé lóòótọ́? Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, Tasty Cube chicken flavour ni o, tí wọ́n ṣe pẹ̀lú àwọn èròjà àbáláyé láti sọ gbogbo oúnjẹ tá a sè dàjẹ́ pọ́nnu lá. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, Tasty Cube chicken flavour á fàdùn ara máa ń da sóúnjẹ. Mo ti gba ti Tasty Cube chicken flavour lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀. Tó bá jẹ bẹ́ẹ̀, má jáfara o, sáré lọ ra Tasty Cube chicken flavour tiẹ̀ lónìí láti máa jẹ̀gbádùn oúnjẹ àjẹpọ́nnu lá. Tasty Cubes chicken flavour ó ń fún wa lóúnjẹ tó gbádùn. Tasty Cubes chicken flavour ó wà lọ́lọ́gọ́rùn-ún gíráàmù, ọlọ́gọ́rùn-ún mẹ́rin gíráàmù àti ọlọ́gọ́rùn-ún mẹ́fà gíráàmù. Ó tún wà níyẹ̀ fún.
Alhamdulillah, oṣù alápèlé ti tún wọlé dé wẹ́rẹ́ o. Oṣù ẹ̀yọ́nú, oṣù yẹ́ṣẹ̀ tọ́ba aláàjọ àṣà ìtàn sínú oṣù Ramadan. ní iléeṣẹ́ rédíò àti tẹlifíṣàn ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ BCOS ilé akéde oríta Basọ̀run fi ń kéde wípé àsìkò ti tó fúnṣẹ́ àṣegbọrẹ o. ìtọ́ba aláǹjúwe fún wa nínú Al-Qur'an pé a lè fi làlàyé ń bí àti lọ́la àlùkìyámà. torí náà ẹ wá ṣonígbọ̀wé ètò àwẹ̀ nílé iṣẹ́ wa BCOS lówó tí ògúnpá tí ó sì gajara lọ. ọba aláò sì ní dùn wá ní ládàá ẹ̀. bó ṣe rú pípé alẹ́ àdán, bó ṣe tafsir, wáàzí, ó túbà jímọ̀ nú àwẹ̀, tàràwí, ìrun hid àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ lẹ fẹ́ ṣonígbọ̀wọ́. kódà bẹ́ẹ̀ fẹ́ kí wọ́n máa gbọ́ lórí rédíò àbí kí wọ́n máa wò ó lórí tẹlifíṣàn live and direct bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń ṣe lọ́wọ́. BCOS ẹ máa bọ̀ ẹ̀yẹ ṣáàtì wá sí ẹ̀ka yàwòrán film unit wa nílé akéde ń bí tàbí kẹ́pẹ́ alága ìgbìmọ̀ Ramadan tọdún 2026 Alhaji Ibrahim Adeoye ọmọ adá mọ́mọ́ sórí 07069636433. ìbádà wa nínú oṣù Ramadan ọba aláwọ̀ ní dàlú aláyà á sì jèrè láyé ń bí àti lọ́la lùkìámọ̀ inshallah bikuratila ìgbìmọ̀ oṣù Ramadan tọdún 2026 lábẹ́ àṣẹ iléeṣẹ́ BCOS oríta Basọ̀run Ìbàdàn ló ṣe shukron jazilan bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń bọ̀ wá ṣonígbọ̀wé ètò.
Tẹ́bálẹ́wọ̀ ọ̀hún dé omílẹ̀ títí Jesus presenter ń sọ orí nípele lètò jákèjádò orílẹ̀-èdè àgbáńlá ayé ètò tí pele rẹ̀ ń ga jù olóńgbè ló pele mọ́ ìjà ń gbọ́ ó pele mọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ó pele mọ́ lètò ìyẹn Oluyole FM 98.5 lọ síwájú ìjòwò àwọn mọ́tẹ́ Jesus presenter ní dédé aago 2 sí 3 bẹ̀ẹ́ ìyẹn ní gbogbo ọjọ́ ajé ọjọ́ Monday abala sankosanko mọ̀ sọ àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tá a fi ṣòdiwọ̀n ìṣẹ̀mí ayé tá a wà yìí tá a fi ní dàbí dàbí ejò tó kọjá ló máa sọ àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tá a fi ṣòdiwọ̀n ìṣẹ̀mí ayé tá a wà yìí tá a fi ní dàbí ejò tó kọjá lórí àpáta ìyẹn láyé kan tá a wá paríparí ohun gbogbo tá a fi kájú ẹ̀yìn ní abala nínú òye mi ibi tá a ti mú ọ̀rọ̀ kan tàbó mìíràn wá tá a ti láǹfààní láti máa sọ òye wa lórí ẹ̀ tá a tún máa fi kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ṣẹ̀wárí pópónlé lè ṣètò tẹ́lẹ̀ máa gbọ́ tẹ́ máa sọ àbí tẹ́ máa tó gbé ó pè.
ìgbà tó gbá dé baálẹ̀ gbọ́migbọ́mi kọ̀ǹkọ̀ tó kọ̀ǹkọ̀ dé baálẹ̀ wẹ̀dọ̀wẹ̀dọ̀ tiwantiwa àkọ́tún ètò lálẹ́ ká sórí ìkànnì Olúyọ̀lé FM 98.5 lórí ètò tiwantiwa ẹ wá gbọ́ ẹwà èdè nínú àṣà owó èdè Yorùbá níjọ̀wọ́n àná níbẹ̀ lórí ètò tiwantiwa níbi tí a ti máa ṣe àgbéyẹ̀wò àwọn ohun tí àwọn bàbá wa ń ṣe láyé àtijọ́ àtàwọn ohun tí a ń ṣe lóde òní abala òwe ń kọ́ láti máa tú àtúpalẹ̀ àwọn òwe tá a máa gbọ́n yẹ́bẹ́yẹ́bẹ́ ní tí òwe túmọ̀ sí àti ohun tó sọ iṣẹ́ abẹ̀mí láti máa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa àwọn ẹranko ìgbẹ́ àti àwọn ohun tí ojú àwọn ọdẹ máa ń rí nínú igbó kẹràndó tó di ọbẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ọmọ yín olólùfẹ́ yín Babátúndé Ògúnwálé Ìjálá Olúfẹ̀ ní gbogbo àṣálẹ́ ọjọ́ ajé ni o Monday láago 9 sáago 10 ààbọ̀ àṣálẹ́ níkànnì Olúyọ̀lé FM 98.5 lẹ́ẹ̀tì máa gbọ́ ẹ máa tẹ́tí lẹ́kùn.
Oluyole FM 98.5.
It's 11 o'clock. Let's begin the news on the hour, which reports that Pope Leo XIV has condemned the recent wave of violent attack across Nigeria, expressing sorrow over the loss of lives and calling on authorities to act decisively to protect citizens. The Pope's statement comes amid a series of deadly attacks in several parts of the country, with Kwara State recording the most devastating government area of Kwara State in what has been described by residents as a massacre. While reports indicate 162 people continue to be recovered from surrounding bushland. The killings drew international condemnation, with the United Nations, the United States and Turkey denouncing the violence. In another development, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency has predicted a mix of sunshine and cloudiness from today to Wednesday across the country. In its weather outlook released on Sunday in Abuja, NIMET forecast sunny and cloudy skies over the northern region throughout the period. NIMET also predicted sunny skies over the southern region and light rain. NIMET has advised people with asthmatic condition and other respiratory issues to take heed of the prevailing weather condition. It also urged airline operators to obtain airport-specific weather reports and flight documentation from NIMET for effective planning of their operations. That ends the news on the hour. Good morning and thanks for listening.
ẹ̀ka àárọ̀ ìròyìn ṣókí. Pope Leo kẹrìnlá ti gbẹ́nu àtẹ́lu ìkọlù àwọn agbébọn tó ń peléke sí ìjákèjádò orílẹ̀-èdè yìí, tó sì fi ẹ̀dùn ọkàn rẹ̀ hàn sí bí ọ̀pọ̀ ẹ̀mí ṣe ń bá àwọn ìkọlù náà rìn. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ló tún ké sí àwọn ọmọ ìgbìmọ̀ aláṣẹ ìjọba àpapọ̀ ilẹ̀ yìí láti dáàbò bo ẹ̀mí àwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè yìí. Ọ̀rọ̀ tí Pope sọ yìí ló wáyé látàrí onírúurú ìkọlù tó ti wáyé láwọn apá ibìkan lórílẹ̀-èdè yìí pẹ̀lú ti ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara. Láwọn ti pé láàrin ọjọ́ 3 àti 4 oṣù kejì ọdún yìí, àwọn géńdé agbébọn yabo abúlé Wòró àti Nuku ní ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ Kayama ní ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara, tó sì jẹ́ pé ọ̀pọ̀ ẹ̀mí ló bá ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ náà rìn. Nígbà tí ìròyìn fìdí ẹ̀ múlẹ̀ wípé èèyàn 162 ló dèrò ọ̀run, àmọ́ àwọn olùgbé agbègbè tọ́rọ̀ kàn tó fi mọ́ àwọn torí kó yọ nínú ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ yìí gbàgbọ́ wípé ó lé ní 200 èèyàn tó rí ọ̀run àrèmábọ̀ pẹ̀lú bí wọ́n ṣe ti rí òkú àwọn èèyàn ní agbègbè igbó tó ń bẹ ní àwọn agbègbè náà. Ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ yìí ló ti ń kọ àwọn orílẹ̀-èdè àgbáyé lóminú pẹ̀lú bí àjọ ìṣọ̀kan àgbáyé ilẹ̀ Amẹ́ríkà àti Turkey ṣe ń bu àánú àtẹ́lu ìkọlù náà. Àjọ tó ń wo ṣàkún ojú ọjọ́ nílẹ̀ yìí NIMET tí wọ́n ṣàkún bí ó ṣe ṣe kí òòrùn mú kí kùrukùru sì tún bo ojú ọjọ́. Àjọ NIMET wòye pé ó ṣeé ṣe kí òòrùn ràn kí kùrukùru náà sì tún bo ojú ọjọ́ láwọn apá ibìkan lápá àríwá ilẹ̀ yìí. Bákan náà ní ẹkùn gúúsù orílẹ̀-èdè yìí ó ṣeé ṣe kí àrá sán pẹ̀lú òjò díẹ̀. Àjọ NIMET wá gba àwọn èèyàn tó bá ní àìsàn ikọ́ gbẹ̀mígbẹ̀mí asthma àtàwọn àìsàn mìíràn tó jẹ mọ́ ti àìlèmí dáadáa nímọ̀ràn láti ṣọ́ra fún bí ojú ọjọ́ ṣe rí báyìí. Àjọ náà tún ra àwọn tó ń wa ọkọ̀ òfurufú láti máa gba ìwé nípa àkọsílẹ̀ bí ojú ọjọ́ ṣe rí lọ́wọ́ àjọ NIMET kí wọ́n lè mọ ibi tí wọ́n rìn sí. Èyí ló pin ìròyìn ní ṣókí.
Oluyole FM Ìbàdàn ò tó fàkọyọ. Oluyole FM Ìbàdàn làwà tá a ti ṣe bẹ̀bẹ̀ FM. Oluyole FM. Oluyole FM. Oluyole FM 98.5.
You're welcome back to Breakfast Fiesta on Oluyole 98.5 FM, where we have been talking about security threats in Nigeria. Yes, with our guest, Chief Williams Rotimi Fadoju, a security consultant. And before the break, he spoke extensively about all of those factors that could have contributed to where we are today, the background to the security challenges Nigeria is having today. So we'll now move on to
the
Kwara killing.
We've spoken about nipping it in the bud, and it's quite obvious that we've passed that stage. Nothing was done about it. Now, last week, Kwara State, I want us to talk about that. And who are these people, these so-called terrorists? Like, what group are we going to classify them under?
Thank you so much. It will be so difficult to pinpoint the group they belong to, because there is this monolithically, as they are so smart, as people are smart in the house of the husband, likewise the concubines also trying to devise some means not to be able to identify. You see, it is on record and based on my own expertise that yes, sometimes they use it as a means of decoy to say yes, we belong to this group, and at the end of the day, yeah, some of these so-called bandits, they might want to claim that they belong to a certain group. And at the end of the day, after proper investigation, you realize that it's more or less like, that does not mean that they do not. Sometimes you hear international terrorist organization like Al-Qaeda. If you go back to what happened September 11 in New York, when our World Trade Center was demolished, Al-Qaeda came out to say, yes, we are responsible for this. And we did this because of this reason, because of American stand on certain things as a revenge. Now, unfortunately, because we do not carry out proper investigation in this part of the world, and that is to our own detriment. We do not have proper information. Let's say, yes, we have the mechanism, both the human and the materials mechanism, to investigate these people, it is through our investigation, not what they say or what we presume or what anybody, either the governor or maybe head of the security, what they think. It is investigation. As a result of investigations that we will know the group that the attackers is affiliated with. That of Kwara, if you look at the territory or the terrain in this area, is it, then you now realize, is it because of economic benefit? The people that are sponsoring these bandits or terrorists, they themselves, they want economic value. They have something in returns. Let me quickly say this. Sometimes ago, Al-Mustafa, the former security chief to Abacha, mentioned the kind of illegal, and he mentioned a kind of mineral that is being found in the northeast part of Nigeria that has been cordoned off, or that this, I can't remember the name of that material or that mineral. It's not gold, it's not diamond, it's even more expensive than gold and diamond. So if they succeed in getting like 1 or 10 ounces of that material, of that mineral, is worth more than put together 2 kilograms of diamond, pure diamond. So you ask yourself, now this issue of Kwara, could it be as a result of something that is maybe being discovered in that area? Because the killing was completely senseless.
And there was report that the chief had received a letter sometimes in January about their arrival, informing them that they were coming to the village, to the community, to preach. So how they came with their reasons, so how do we relate it to?
Thank you so much. That goes to part of the solution that we need to profile. I said earlier on in my opening statement or comments, I said we cannot continue doing the same thing and expect a different result. Now, if those people, if they write a letter to the community head informing him or the community that they are coming to preach, that is a decoy. We all now know that they didn't come to preach, they didn't come to distribute palliatives, they didn't come to bring succor, but they came to kill, to maim, to bring,
and to destroy.
To bring as much sadness they could. Now that is another way forward. If we are not going to have this kind of a thing repeating itself, we must understand that, look, Nigeria is facing a serious security challenges. And you and I, the people, that's the difference between conventional and asymmetric war. The people that are fighting us, we don't know them. And for the fact that they can now come under any disguise, they can come, and that's why I said earlier on, this might probably not be the end. They might come in informing a local head that yes, we are coming to immunize, print leaflets, distribute it on so day. We are coming to immunize your children for free. We are coming to give reading glasses and eye tests for free. This is where it now behoves on all our leaders, be it religious, be it traditional, not to believe what is on paper alone. They need to carry out, I am sure, if the district head had informed the police.
Oh, there was. He did.
The defense headquarters. He said they took the letter to the defense headquarters.
And the defense headquarters does approve. You see, that is what I'm trying to say. Okay, or if not all. If the defense headquarters got that letter, there was a date or whatever that they said they are coming, and the defense headquarters did nothing about it, then head must roll. How? Because when you're talking about information that yes, we are intelligence gathering, there is no intelligence gathering that can be more greater than that. How? Who receives? How did they treat it? How did they respond? We all now know that maybe somebody got that information, put it on his table, and did nothing.
But Fadojo, this wouldn't be the first time something like that will be happening. We had several attacks where they had warnings ahead, but nothing was done.
Yeah, that is, Mom. If we now say that it has happened in the past, and these are part of the solutions. Look, amongst our military, past military leaders, who has been called to accountability, that we can now say, yes, this person was called to come and accountable for his action or her action during his tenure. One thing we keep forgetting in this country is that our leaders, they cannot lead themselves. They are leading us, and they are accountable to every Nigerian. That is the way it should be. But unfortunately, because of these three cancers, I call them cancers, that is eating deep into our flesh, we don't, and where we do, you hear people rising up. Oh, they are calling Chief Fadoju to come and give accountability of his stewardship because he's an Ondo man. People from Ondo will rise up to come and defend me because I am an Ondo man, and probably the person that is the president is not from Ondo because he's not from an Ondo man. He's not an Ondo man. Until we take that away from our way of living, we will continue. I'm not a prophet of doom. These challenges is not going to abate. These challenges will continue. If some people wrote a letter to a community under the disguise in order to gather people, and the community leader did the needful by sending that letter to the appropriate authority, and this massacre still happens, my dear, if this happens in a Western world, and unfortunately we all want to japa, the reason why we want to japa is because they have systems that are put in place that are functional. Look at what is happening in UK now.
Yes, I see.
Even the Prime Minister is sitting on a hot iron now. What he did not know about, he wasn't Epstein's friend. He didn't benefit from Epstein's money, but because Peter Mandelson that he appointed, and it is a normal way of life. If you call me for an interview, there are tendencies that I might lie to you in my CV so that I can get that job. Now, Peter Mandelson lies about his relationship with Epstein. Now it has come to realization that yes, Peter Mandelson lies before he got that job as an ambassador to the United States. Now the Prime Minister that appointed him last week had to tender an apology, an open apology, and let me tell you, that is what is going to remove Keir Starmer. I am telling you.
You said with the Kwara's challenge or the Kwara attack.
Yes, ma'am.
Heads should roll.
Absolutely.
Who will make the heads roll?
Look, we ought to have a system, and our political leader, if this gets to Tinubu, who is the commander-in-chief of armed forces, he should petition the NSA, his NSA, Nuhu Ribadu, and Nuhu Ribadu should carry out a proper investigation, because Nuhu Ribadu is his national security advisor, and investigate this properly. If we live in a country that have respect for life, this investigation must be thorough, must be open, unambiguous. Nigerians need to know what happens and where people need to be sanctioned for dereliction of their duties. So be it. If this is not done, if we sweep it under the carpet, maybe because of political, religious, or tribal affiliations, then we should expect more. But are we ready for more? Yeah. Do we deserve to have more of this kind of occurrence? Innocent life has been killed. And you know the most ironic part of this? This is my 39 years of living in the United Kingdom. 39 years. When things like this happens, there is a department that they call I'm going to remember now, Injury Compensation Board. Yes, Yoruba people will say, "Owo to eniyan." But if this kind of a thing happens, the government, despite the fact that they are going to be fully involved in the investigation, prosecution, carrying out, the families will not be left alone. Each of these family will be rewarded financially. The mother that lost her son, the wife that lost her son, are going to be compensated. But in our country today, besides the hula baloo of our political leaders or religious leaders paying them visits, in another 3 months' time, they are left alone to their destiny, and that is unfortunate.
Now, Chief Father Joe.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the way forward? We do not want attacks and incidents or occurrences like this to keep happening in Nigeria. We want to be able to forestall them and tell the bandits to what needs to be done.
The way forward is, I call them 3 bitter pills. Yoruba people will say, "Ogun to ba ma wo egbo, obudo ta ilegbo." We must remove all our political leaders. They must know that, look, politics is their area of maybe that brought them to prominence, but Nigerians voted for them. I was in Nigeria during the last election. I casted my vote, even to the people that I am more older than. I stood in the sun. I deserve a better life. That is why I casted my vote. For Nigeria to get out of this insecurity problem, we must have leaders that has the political will, regardless of whoever that is involved, the political will to find, to investigate whoever. We cannot look, if a terrorist, and this is a fact, if one terrorist is killed today, another 10 are on the line being recruited. So, and they know how they compensate the family of those they call them fallen heroes. Nigeria needs to go beyond mere killing of these people, because when you kill one, another 2 is taken. We need to do that. Who are the sponsors of these people? Name them, shame them, regardless of their of their office. That is number 1. Number 2, we need to starve these terrorists. Those